I can't work a 9 to 5 forever. I cannot do this forever, man. Like, it is exhausting. It is overwhelming. I have never been. I've quit more jobs than I've kept in my life. I've never been at a job longer than probably a year and a half max. I say 2 years, but really a year and a half. I've switched jobs. I've switched career choices. I've done a lot of different things in my life to know that this path is just not for me. And I've accepted that. I've always been more creative and entrepreneurial in a sense than I have been good at working jobs. I just always have. I didn't even listen to my teacher in school. I don't like listening to people. And it doesn't mean that I just don't like to follow rules. I just always march to the beat of my own drum. And so realizing that, I also had to come to the realization that in order for me not to do this for the rest of my life, I have to come up with some kind of plan, like some kind of reality where it's not going to happen by itself. I haven't been able to manifest it, you know what I'm saying? But I have to be able to come up with some kind of plan where I don't have to do this for the rest of my life. And so this is the plan that I have. I'm going to talk about this in this video. This is how I'm gonna not work at my job anymore and be able to do the things that I want. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is my plan, my financial goal, and then like my exit plan. I feel like if you're a person like me who doesn't want to work anymore, these are things that you have to think about and consider, because I know we're in a time where the job market is fickle, if there will even be a job market or whatever it's gonna look like in 5 years. But we all have to still kind of cover our bases, is what I'm learning, at least for ourselves, in event that nothing goes the way you want it to go. So it's like you hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So I know it's a long intro, but let's get straight into it. So for me, I have to have a plan. So me coming into this job, I want this to be my last job ever. Like I just don't want to do this anymore. I said, okay, I want to be able to create content full time. I want to be, a YouTuber, content creator. I'm a candle maker already. I want to be able to do this stuff full time. I want to be able to make a living off of the things that I create full time. And be lucrative at it, not just like the bare minimum, but actually be lucrative at it. So the first thing I say is you have to create a plan. So going into whatever job that you're in right now, create a plan. So a plan is like, okay, I'm going to work. This is the goal. Whether it's a financial goal, whether it's a physical goal, whether it's to save X amount of money, whatever it is, you have to have a plan. And in your plan, just like they talk about in business, before you enter into a business deal, you need to know what your exit is. Same thing if you trading stocks or anything like that. You need to know what your exit is going to be before you enter the plan. So I created a plan. My plan was saying, okay, I want to save this much money. I want to, make sure I have my basis so that way if I decide to leave work, I got enough money to cover. But also my plan includes, okay, well, with content, what are you going to do? Still going to create content, still going to be consistent. The money part of it is just to help fund whatever you're doing. And that's the second part, having a financial goal. So for me, it wasn't just about saving, it was about getting out of debt completely. So paying off my debts, which I am probably a third of the way there, paying off my debts completely with whatever my income is, and then whatever extra I have coming in from candles, from videos and stuff like that, I'll use that to cover up the bases. When taxes come back, I'll use that to, make a bigger payment on what I'm doing. So whatever your financial goal is, if it's to get out of debt, if it's to save, you have to be hopeful but kind of be realistic. So if you only make let's say 750 a week or $1,000 or $500 a week, you have to realistically say, okay, how much can I save? And then if you want to be aggressive, how aggressive can I be in my saving? So if you want to get 10K saved or whatever, right? How aggressive do I need to be in my saving to, be able to pretty much shorten this time so that way I don't have to do this forever. Like, the more money you save, the quicker you can get out of your situation. The more money you make, the quicker you can get out of your situation. The more money you keep, the quicker you can get out of your situation. So you have to think in those regards. So not only was I thinking about paying off my debt and saving and all this other stuff, I was thinking about doing it as aggressively as I possibly can, right? That doesn't mean that life doesn't happen and things don't come up, but kind of cultivating a plan, and your plan can change, but kind of cultivating a financial plan to the point where it's like, okay, I make this much. I want to bring home this much. I want to save this much. I want to invest this much or whatever, and sticking by that number as much as you can. So when you have a financial plan, like I say, you want to save, right? If you got debt, you want to pay off your debt and you want to invest. I wouldn't try to focus on too many of those things at once. Maybe pick one thing that you could be aggressive with. So that way it keeps your momentum. Like once you get the momentum, it's going. So for me, right now I've been paying off debt. I have been saving as well, but not as aggressive because debt is like the main thing. Debt is the main thing. I do invest a little bit here and there, but really debt is the main focus right now. Paying that all that off. I save a little bit so that way, I just know that I'm throwing money over here, even if I'm not thinking about it. But I'm being aggressive with paying off my debt. So that's the financial plan and saving a certain amount of money so that way I can take off 3 months, 6 months, whatever I need to be able to focus solely on the content. But my bigger plan already was to continue doing content even while I'm working. So that way I'm not trying to build momentum from nothing. Does that make sense what I'm saying? The third part of that, like I said, is you have to have your exit plan. So your exit plan is, okay, once I hit this number, I'm done. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how good the job is going. It doesn't matter whatever. Once I hit whatever this is, I'm done. And it could be a view count. It could be a subscriber count. It could be a dollar amount. It could be whatever it is to the point where you make up in your mind, once I hit this goal, whatever this milestone is, I am done. So for me, it took me a long time to kind of come up with a plan because I always thought it would just happen for me. I always hoped it would happen for me. I always prayed it would happen, and it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And then probably last year sometime, maybe a little bit before that, probably about 2 years ago, I realized, you're going to have to like do it yourself. And then I started doing it, and it just work was so overwhelming. It was so daunting. I never thought that I was going to be able to do it. And so I left the last job I was at after a year and a half because it just was so overwhelming. And it was so hard for me after that to even find another job. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I kind of just had to take whatever came first. So in doing that, I was like, you know what? I hate this feeling. I don't like it. I don't ever want to be in this feeling again. So let me do what I can to um to make this happen. So one thing I've also kind of come to the terms with is like, if you want to make money faster, you got to work more. But I don't believe in necessarily overwhelming yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because that can be bad for your health and your mental. I'm that type of person. When I first started working, I didn't work 40 hours every week out the gate because it just was too much for me. It was too much. I had to take time off here and there to get my mind right and build up resilience and stuff like that. Now I'm in a better place where I can work. And so it's like for me, now I'm maximizing my time. I'm maximizing my time. I'm maximizing my hours. I'm maximizing my money. So it took a little longer than what I might have liked because of the fact that I had to ramp up to it. But I'm not going to beat myself down because I wasn't able to do it. I still was creating content. I still was moving towards the life I wanted. So I know it's frustrating sometimes because we want to leave this job today. If I knew a way to leave my job today and be okay, I would. I would have did it years ago. I haven't figured it out yet. And so I've kind of understood is that time is going to pass either way. So I might as well make the best of my time, right? And so if you're that kind of person where I'm tired of my job, I'm tired of working so much, but I don't want to, you're not in a place where you want to work more hours, then you have to kind of cut back on your lifestyle temporarily. That's the only thing I can think of. Cut back on your lifestyle temporarily. Cut down your expenses temporarily. So that way you can save more of what you keep, right? So even if you're saying, hey man, I'm in a bad mental space. I can't work 40 hours, 50 hours a week. Okay, well you need to cut down what you're spending so that way you can save more of what you already have. You know what I mean? Like eventually you might need to make some more money or you need to find a side hustle that pays you a little more. Whatever you can get money from the quickest. You know what I'm saying? Like there are people out here who have 3D printers. They do that. There are people out here who make shirts. They do that. Whatever idea can get you the money the quickest. You know what I'm saying? And if you got like a custom, home goods or something like that you can make at home, pop-ups are probably going to be the easiest way for you to get into or, markets and stuff like that. Easiest way for you to get some money now. You know what I'm saying? On top of the Uber, the DoorDash, whatever. Like you have to build a plan that works for you. For me, I don't think I was self-driven enough to get up and drive Uber every day. I don't like people that much. You know what I'm saying? I do, but I don't. Like, so you have to find a plan that works for you. You don't necessarily have to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. But the goal at the end is you have to keep more money than you're spending out. So if you don't feel like, and I wish I understood, I wish somebody really explained this to me. Nobody really took the time to explain this to me. So I'm explaining it to you. It doesn't matter if you work 30 hours, 20 hours, or 40 or 50 hours a week. You have to keep more money than you spend. So if you feel like, okay, I absolutely hate the job that I'm at right now, and it's absolutely like whatever, if you can cut back your hours, and that's okay with you, cut back your hours, but you also gonna have to cut back what you spend. So even if that means that you might not be able to live that luxury life that you live right now for the next 6 months or the next year, you have to, you know what I'm saying, you have to be mindful of that because you're trying to monitor your well-being, but you're also trying to keep the money so that way eventually you can leave your job. So these are things that I'm learning, but I can't do this forever, man. I really want to be done now, but for real, I want to be done in the next year. Like I never want to do this again. Never. I hate the way that it feels. I don't like. I've learned a lot. My work ethic has gotten better. You know, I'm more accountable than I was. I do the hard stuff, but I never want to do this ever again in my life. I don't. I don't, bro, because it's just too exhausting. But another thing I would say is that you have whatever you learn from your job, the work ethic, the skills that you pick up, it transfers into like entrepreneurship, right? So if you don't get up early or if you don't have a plan and you don't stick to it and you're not gonna hold yourself accountable to make content and make videos or do what you need to do without a job, you're not gonna do it because it's easier to not do it when you don't have a job because it's like I have the time, I have all the time in the world, I can take my time and you can't do that. You got to be, especially if you're talking about you want to leave your job and be a content creator, whatever, you got to do it and you got to go all in because everybody's going all in. So you got to go all in even more. You're going to have to go all in on something. And so you have to pick what is going to be that's worth sacrificing for. I know that it sucks because for me, that was so hard for a long time. I couldn't figure out, do I go all in on this or do I go all in? And I was stuck between a rock and a hard place for a long time. You have to just pick the direction that you want to go in and you have to go full speed in that direction. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean you got to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week, but you do have to keep more money than you spend out. That's just what it's gonna be. So either you're gonna make less money or you're gonna make more money and then whatever, but whatever you do, keep yourself busy during this time because that's what's gonna make your time go by faster at that job that you don't like doing. So even if at your job you got a part-time job or whatever, it's gonna make the time go by faster. Like I'm 10 months into this journey, bro, and time just goes faster because of the fact that I'm every day I'm doing something. I'm busy. I'm busy. It makes time go by super fast because you don't have time to think about it. And don't give yourself too much time to think about it because then you'll hesitate and you won't make a decision. So I hope this video is helpful to you. This is my reality, man. I'm finna head to work now, so I'm only telling y'all what I live. But if you like this, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, drop it in the comments. Till next time, have a great day. Peace.